Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, not a problem at all. Not a problem at all.
All right, so I'm a little older than you, and I'm looking a little bit toward retirement, and I'm a big golfer. When you're retired, how much golf can you play?
Well, it kind of depends on how many hall passes you get, whatever else you got going on. But yeah, no, you definitely get plenty of golf in. But it's kind of like anything. You start playing a little too much and start getting too competitive about it.
Right.
At least for me, I was like, you know what? I think I'm taking this a little too serious. Maybe I need to back up a little bit. Because
I remember I saw you, I want to say it was Round Hill or some other country, maybe Contra Costa, where you were in like a long drive thing, exhibition. So you can hit it.
Oh, yeah. I think they had one of the, I think they had like, I am blanking on his real name, but I think his kind of long drive name was the Sasquatch.
Yes,
he was out there
yes.
putting on a little showcase, and I was like, oh, man, I can hit it far. And he was like, no, you really can't. Watch this.
So let me ask you seriously, like, kind of what have you been doing? And let us know how retirement is, because you hear different things about, some people feel a little bit empty. Other people are enjoying being away. Kind of tell us what you've been up to and how you're feeling.
Yeah, no, it's been good. I mean, it's definitely a growing experience, and it's always changing with what's going on. So it's definitely new to not have a complete role that you're shooting for. Since I was a younger kid, I was always striving to try to find a way to be a baseball player, and so now that role has changed. So you kind of have to go through a growing period and find out different things about yourself and be challenging in that way. But it's been good. I mean, obviously, tons of time with the family and being able to experience a lot of things like that. So it's a big balancing act to be able to take care of yourself, but also being able to take care of some things that I wasn't able to do physically in the past. So yeah, it's been great all around.
That's good to hear, Matt. I got to tell you, I'm a 70s baby. I love baseball, but yet I'm mad at it. And I'm mad at it because of the 3 true outcomes, because you see the extra inning rule with the runner on second, which I hate, Matt. But guys still swinging for the fences, not giving themselves up for the greater good of the team. With that said, and so many strikeouts, would your approach change if you got the ball tonight and you were pitching to get major league hitters out?
I don't know. I don't know if it really would. I mean, I think the biggest thing is I mean, I don't think you can ever, you definitely don't ever have that feeling that you have a free pitch to give to someone, like there were times that you used to be able to do. And even during my career, that started to change. But kind of at the beginning, usually it was, 3-0. For the most part, guys were going to let you throw a strike, and then it's kind of no holds barred. You had a handful of guys that would free swing, ambush first pitch, but it's the way the game is, and it's changed, and that's kind of part of the growth of it, and everything kind of goes in ebbs and flows of it, and who knows, maybe this will change back to something that we have previously seen before.
Do you like it, Matt?
I do like it, but it's not something. Baseball has never been a sport that I always sat down and watched a ton of anyway. I'd always kind of glanced through it. So, it doesn't really affect a whole lot of me.
Gotcha. Matt Cain joining us on 95.7 The Game. 3-time world champion with the Giants. I want to ask you to, think back to that 2010 season. We had 2 guys on the radio early today, and they were talking about this year's Giants, and one said, well, they're not a title team. And another person said, well, we don't know that. In 2010, you guys were 47-41 at the break. You hadn't won a World Series up to that point. When do you know you're a championship team? I can't imagine you knew it at the All-Star break that year.
No, definitely not. Definitely not in 2010. I mean, all of us were, for the most part, were looking to figure out even what the playoffs felt like. So we would have, we were just hoping to get a shot to the playoffs, and then the reality sets in. You're like, hey, like we can actually do this, with a certain amount of wins. Like, hey, we can be a championship team. And then from the years past, you do have a little bit of an idea of teams that at least can contend which can be a little bit of a bittersweet thing because you might be early in April and
Right.
May, and you're like, I think we're playing a little out of our league, and that's just time and experience. But, if you haven't done it, I feel like it's more of one of those things where you don't really know the complete chemistry of what a championship team looks like, or even just a playoff team in general.
Matt, I want to give you a late congratulations. My partner's looking at me like, what for? And I'm about to tell him, you were the last National League pitcher to get a win in the 2012 All-Star Game, and they haven't won since. What do you make of that? And again, congrats.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. I had a lot of help from Panda and some of the other, and Melky that day. So luckily I had some guys on my side, Buster. But yeah, no, I can't believe that. It's just been a little bit lopsided. But hey, maybe this will be the year.
There you go.
Matt Cain joining us on 95.7 The Game. One thing I was always, batting around in my head, the Giants do a great job of keeping their former players in the loop. At the same time, as a former player, you don't want to kind of be a high school Harry and be back there night after night after night. How do you kind of pick and choose your spots to kind of come back into the limelight?
And that's a hard one. It really is, because you want to show the appreciation for the team that, invested so much into you. But you'd also like to be able to have some separation, at least in mine, you want to have some separation to not be there all the time because, you don't want to, always be the guy that's just wearing it out, I feel like. But everybody's different with it. So I think it's a little bit of a thing to where it's always going to be, from guy to guy. And the Giants, they do a great job with their staff in the PR department and, feeling out guys, hey, what are you guys willing to do? What do you want to be a part of? And, throwing out opportunities and then also filtering through some opportunities that they've know that guys might not be a part of.
Matt, let me ask you this. We all know the Giants are one of the most storied franchises in baseball. You had Barry Bonds, your teammate Buster Posey, and last year was great. 107 was great, yet you didn't win. And I told my partner, I like this year's Giants, but they don't have that Matt Cain or Buster Posey to me. And if a guy like Juan Soto does become available, and I don't know how much you know Farhan, but you're in a division where you got Tatis, you got Machado, the Dodgers got Betts and Muncy. Don't you think management owes it to the Giant fans and the team to do whatever you can under the sun to try to see if you could get a guy like Juan Soto in a Giant uniform?
Yeah, it would be great, but they've also got to be thinking a little bit, I think, down the road as well. And, what are they going to have to do to be able to get a player like that? I don't know his availability. Is he just going to be a rental player for the half of the year, and then what does it look like down the road? So luckily, I kind of stayed out of that. So I don't know a ton of how it actually works. It is definitely a boost. Like when Hunter, when we got Hunter over, that was amazing. Then there was other times when we got Beltran, and it didn't pan out. But it wasn't, it wasn't for his lack of produce. It was that it just didn't pan out. So it's always a tough one to be able to say, hey, just because you go get a guy, like a Soto, it's like, is that going to change everything?
Yeah.
I think it's still a coin toss.
Yeah. Matt Cain joining us on 95.7 The Game. Sorry to interrupt you there, Matt. I'm going to ask you this. This is going to be the last one, just because, you were such a fixture here and a prominent member of a championship team. Like, do you watch the Warriors? Do you watch Curry and you like him?
Yeah, no, I did. I had fun watching the playoffs. I was lucky to go over one of the games. The game that they beat the Grizzlies. They kind of etched it out when they couldn't make anything until the last quarter or so, and then Curry took over. But yeah, no, it was a blast to watch those guys play, and Steph just goes about his business.
You ever meet him?
The right way. Say again?
Did you ever meet him?
Oh yeah, actually I did. His daughter rides horses as well, so I met him out actually at one of the. And I'd met him before that, but I met him and chatted with him for a while over at one of the horse shows.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, can you shoot a little bit? Did you play any hooping your high school days?
You know what? I thought I could shoot, and I could probably shoot. I could shoot decent, but no, not really. Maybe if I stand at the free throw line, I might make a couple, but nothing special.
Go.
I've won a couple carnival basketball things.
Yes.
That at least I got some points with that.
Yeah, I mean, those are big shots because you get a big stuffed animal out of it. I mean, it's important.
But you got to make sure not to do that at the very beginning when you walk in, because then you got to walk around with it.
That is actually a great piece of knowledge that I hadn't thought about it. All right, real quick here.
Matt, I'm going to ask you a quick one. We got a situation in L.A. with the Angels, and you got two fantastic players with Trout and Ohtani, but yet in the standings, it's not working. You talk about hoop. If you got Kevin Durant or LeBron, you know what, Matt? You're going to be in it. Does that speak to just how hard the game of baseball is, even if you got a superstar or superstars, that the Angels aren't competing?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the game is tough, and you need a lot of other pieces to go along with some star players, and it takes a lot to build those franchises, or just to build winning teams. It's definitely not easy. So I give a lot of those credits to those guys that are able to mix and match and use all kinds of different chemistry or the numbers or whatnot to be able to put teams together. So it's definitely an art, and I don't think it's as much of a science as we would like to make it into.
Hey, Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it, and best of luck to you, man.
No, I appreciate it. Y'all take it easy.
All right, Matt Cain,
Man,
Giants legend.